Hello, and welcome to the American Military University Systems Symposium on Current Science Knowledge in Support of Popular Science Writing. My name is Devin Tiger, and I will be giving you a short presentation over biodiversity loss in human health, a comparison of the book Sparing Nature and Current Science. This will be one of many short presentations that you'll receive today, and I hope that you enjoy what you're about to learn and everything else that you will learn today. So this is what we'll be covering in this presentation. We'll be covering the background of Sparing Nature, including the author's background. We'll be covering some of the major themes found within the book Sparing Nature. We'll be comparing the current science of biodiversity loss and how the book has already touched on this theme. We're going to cover the current science of the human health impact as a result of biodiversity loss, which is also another theme covered in the book. So Sparing Nature is actually Sparing Nature, the conflict between human population growth and Earth's biodiversity. It's written by Jeffrey K. McKee, who is currently a professor at Ohio State University. He's written a couple of other books and published numerous papers. He earned his PhD from Washington University in 1985. This book was published in 2003. Professor McKee has an extensive background in anthropology and other studies that help him write this book. So some of the major themes in Sparing Nature, as you can summarize from the title, biodiversity loss, and how it affects animals and plants, and how it's impacted by the human population and its growth. Biodiversity is simply just the diversity of animals and plants and species and life as a whole in an ecosystem. And biodiversity loss is the loss of a few of those species within an ecosystem, or many of those species within an ecosystem. It's literally just the loss of life and the diversity of it in an ecosystem. But as you can see, we'll talk about the human population growth, or the book talks about human population growth and its impact, and how it's creating a human wedge between the human species and nature. Biodiversity loss negatively impacts human health. We rely so much on different ecosystem services that if we lose them, our society and our species as a whole could be in real danger. So current science on biodiversity loss, many studies have been conducted confirming that we're entering a sixth mass extinction as a result of human activity and climate change. It's been studied multiple times, multi-scale study recently conducted trying to link all of the relationships of biodiversity and all the effects that it has. You can see the picture on the right, that's a rainforest in Brazil. Part of it's been cleared out for farming, the rest of it's been saved. A lot of us would say, yeah, it happened, good thing they saved that part that they could. But what we don't realize, or what most of us don't realize, is that even though they've saved that tiny part right there, the effect of clearing out that land next to it will still be felt in the area that's been saved. Other human activities besides just deforestation can destroy forest and biodiversity. This can be seen in urban areas with lower socioeconomic statuses. A lower income area will have less biodiversity than a higher income area. This could explain why lower income countries have a willingness to seemingly destroy their environment for profit. The current science on human health impact has been studied multiple times as well, specifically with soil health. Soil biodiversity loss, the loss of the organisms within the soil, can result in less nutritious food, increased pests, and a lack of clean air and water. Ecosystem services, like I said before, can be diminished with polluted water, crops unpollinated. We all know that the bees are dying off, but it's been studied on how important bee species diversity is to actual crop pollination and the effects that multiple bee species dying off has on crops being unpollinated. Sustainable development should be a focus of ours, and public education should be a priority in retaining that focus. But in the book, the author McKee touches on the fact that growing population might still be too much for the environment, and then it might be time for our species to look at planned families. So in summary, this is what we covered. We covered the background of Sparing Nature and the author Jeffrey K. McKee's background. We covered some of the major themes, which is biodiversity loss and the human health impact, and how a growing human population is impacting that biodiversity loss, which in turn impacts the human health. We talked about the current science of biodiversity and how the current science points and proves the author's intent of the book, Sparing Nature. Current science of human health impact also proves that loss of biodiversity can negatively impact the human health. I'll leave you with this quote from Chief Seattle. Man did not weave the web of life, he is merely a strand in it. Whatever he does to the web, he does to himself. This is a quote we need to think about, and how us harming and taking from the environment but not giving back could potentially come back to harm us. These are my references, some great studies if you want to review them. I thank you for your time, and I hope everyone